My name is Ernie Zahn. I'm a filmmaker from the New York area. Since August 2015, I've been living on the New Mexico side of the Navajo Nation for a year-long fellowship with Filmmakers Without Borders. They place art educators and filmmakers like me around the world to help promote student empowerment through filmmaking and media literacy. About half the time is spent in the classroom, but the rest of that time is spent on creative assignments like vignettes and short films, and actually my final project is a feature-length film. This program has a unique set of firsts. It's the first year of the first program in North America, and I'm the very first fellow to be doing a scripted feature-length fiction instead of a documentary. Over this past year, I've cultivated numerous relationships with organizations and individuals for the betterment of the program and the success of this project. We're now working together to fund this film. So the story is set in 1880 around a group of Diné from the New Mexico territory who get unintentionally caught up in a feud between two Civil War veterans who are fighting each other over a battle-forged tontine. The unique thing is this Western story is told from the perspective of the indigenous characters in the film. Normally in a traditional Western, these two Civil War veterans would be portrayed as two lovable rogues that are traversing the frontier in search of fortune and glory, and the indigenous characters in the film would just be their obstacles. Flipping the perspective can change our perception of how the story is told and how we feel about these different characters. One area where we really want to focus on accuracy is in cultural identity. So any characters that speak English will speak English, but any characters, particularly the lead characters, who speak Diné will speak Diné.
Yate sheya Valerie Tapahainche aro kitlichininslo belakana bashichin aro todichini dashache do belakana itashnal do digit au sanenshle do the nabazad e benanshkin. I've been teaching Navajo language for about 19 years, and through these years I've seen the language becoming less and less. It's decreasing, and my concerns are we're going to eventually lose the language. We need more exposure. I think through media, we need for our kids to see more of the language, not just being taught in the classroom or being taught at home, but also through films, through games, activities, other things besides just in the classroom.
The Southwest collection encompasses not only Gallup's diversity, but also the history and the culture of the peoples in the Southwest and also in northern New Mexico. The collection is incredibly expansive. We have materials that are published in the mid-1800s through today. It covers Native American history, Western history, materials on the Zuni Pueblo people, Acoma people, Laguna people, of course, the Navajo Nation. I think it's important for me to note that we do a great deal of research for scholars, academics, filmmakers, and it's one of my loves is the Southwest collection.
I was cast in the lead role during the screenwriting process, and something I really like about this project is that it functions more like a co-op instead of like this writer-director auteur project. Ernie understands that actors need control over their characters. He invited us to work on our characters' dialogue, our characters' background, and so the characters I'll be playing alongside are Diné, but I'm not Diné, so I altered my character to better match my experience, my heritage, and my perspective. And so what we have here is some sort of different narrative that still ends up meshing with the story quite well.
These characters are all very well kind of articulated, like they all have their own individual backstory. Ernie gave me a scene where there's some pretty specific action happening. The image is kind of like bookended, I guess, on one side with the image of this guy coming in with a pistol and his arm coming across the frame. Then your eye follows that across. You see that it's actually the image of him on the wanted poster that she's tacking to the wall. Yeah, I just tried to, bring a little bit of the knowledge that I developed illustrating the other Western story that I worked on to those characters.
The two villains are Civil War vets, and they're originally from Sicily, so we actually incorporated some Sicilian knife fighting into the sequence where they encounter each other for the first time in the film. We're all fans of Westerns, particularly spaghetti Westerns, but we don't want to make a fan service film. This is a way to add a new kind of action to the Western while maintaining the strong Italian Western influence in our creativity.
The composer's job is to enhance the picture story without betraying the director's vision. So the director, during a spotting session, the director might sit you down and say, I want the scene to be happy. And even though they use the word happy, they might mean up-tempo or more accents. There's a lot of subtlety to catch, so you really got to be on your toes and do a lot of translating to make sure you're on the same page. With Ernie Zahn though, Ernie Zahn and we've shared the writer-director's chair for a decade, so there's already trust and clear communication. We have our own shorthand, whether we're talking character development, plot line, or a piece of music.
Inspired by Robert Rodriguez's mariachi style of guerrilla filmmaking, we've been doing a lot to keep the cost of production low. We've recently been graciously offered a ranch to shoot on for the summer, complete with 4 horses to ride, varying terrain, and equipment provided by my fellowship. Filming begins this summer, but to give you a sense of the look of the film, we've gathered location footage and camera tests set to the music by our composer Tom Stroll. If you think that our project is worthy of support, then we would absolutely love your contribution. Thank you very much.